Hey guys, welcome back to my channel if you're a returning subscriber. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natasha Vilaseca. I am a LinkedIn consultant, primarily working with B2B companies, agency owners, coaches and consultants to help them implement an effective lead generation strategy, both organically, and I'm going to start doing some content on how you can use the paid advertising capabilities on LinkedIn as well. Now, for today's video, I am going to do something which is around sales. This video is going to be the most common sales objections and what they really mean, because a lot of the time, and this is something that I learned in the past 12 months or so running my business, people use smoke screens. Now, what's a smoke screen? A smoke screen is an objection where the prospect doesn't really mean what they're saying, they actually mean something else, but they're just trying to mislead you away from the close because they don't feel like you've given them enough value to want to invest in your product or service. I'm going to run through 3 of the most common objections that may be smoke screens, what they really mean, and how you can handle them or prevent them from happening. So, without further ado, let's get into number 1. The first objection, which may be a smokescreen, is I need to think about it. Now, just as a kind of disclaimer, maybe 1 out of 10 times, 2 out of 10 times, this might be a genuine objection. It could actually be what the prospect means. However, I'm going to be playing devil's advocate and assume that this isn't really what they mean and it is just a smokescreen because you haven't done your part in pre-qualifying them or handling the conversation in the correct way up until the end of the conversation, which is when most objections occur. I need to think about it. This is a surface level objection. Smokescreen. What do they really mean? You haven't given me enough value as to why I should invest in your product or service, so I'm not ready. That's what the prospect is really trying to tell you. They're just not going to say it like that, because most people aren't going to say, to be honest, like throughout this conversation, you haven't really made your product or service seem that great, so why would I buy it? Maybe you'll get that now and again. I don't think I've ever had that, but this is most of the time what somebody means when they say this. The way in which you can avoid this is through doing like a temperature check. So as you're going through your sales calls, if you get to the pitch of the conversation, so the pitch element of the sales call, you run them through your service offering or your product before you move on to the close, where you're basically asking them to say, are you going to invest or no? You want to say, how do you feel about this on a scale of 1 to 10? So how do you feel about the process that I have outlined so far? Do you feel good about it? Do you feel bad about it? Do you have any questions? Make sure that you get the prospect to reflect on what you've said and really internalize what you have said to them so they can think, actually, there is one thing that I didn't quite understand, or it would be really great if this could be included, or I feel like my main problem is this, and I'm not sure if that's a good fit. This is where you can get a lot of these questions, which are going to help you avoid the objection of, I need to think about it at the end of the call. So having a temperature check, seeing if they have any questions, do they fully understand? That way, if you get this objection and you have done all of those steps, you can say, oh, well, earlier on, like, when I asked if there's anything separate, you said everything sounded good, so I'd prefer to, if you've got any questions, let's just do it on the phone right now. If this isn't a good fit and you're not fully committed or prepared to jump in this with me, then it's better that we kind of just draw the line here, and you can do that. So that is number 1. Number 2 is we don't have the time right now. Smokescreen, what it really means, we don't have this high up enough on our priority list to invest the time or resources financially that you are asking us for. This is sense of urgency. If they have a pain point which is big enough, they want the solution. Did you highlight what the pain was for them? Did you make the pain aware? Have you spoken about what the pain was? What is their problem? What is the thing that they need to solve? You need to make them aware of that pain. They need to sit in it and see if they stay in this place and they continue doing what they're doing, which might be not taking action to solve it, where are they going to be 6 months down the line? Do they want to be there? Is that what they want for their business? No business owner wants to stay in the same place or go backwards. They want to move forwards. You haven't given them a good enough reason or made it aware that their place now is it's urgent for them to solve this problem in order to get to point B, which is their desired situation. So this is within you as a salesperson or a business owner having this call, the demo call, the sales call with them to make sure that they are problem aware, so you can make them solution aware. They have the problem, you have the solution, you can solve it, and then the price is whatever your service product is that you're pricing. That's what that means. Number 3 is we are happy with the service we are currently using. What this really means is you haven't given us a good enough reason to switch from our current provider to you. What's the USP? What's your unique value proposition? How do you differ from who they're currently with? What can you do to avoid this? Ask this question earlier on in the sales call. As I said earlier, most objections come at the end because this is when you get kind of like to the higher pressure part of the call where you're going to be asking them if they want to invest or not. And the prospect knows this, like they can feel it in the energy throughout the call. The best way to handle this is to ask at the beginning so you can be armed with the knowledge that you need in order to direct the conversation in the correct way going past that point. For example, a question that I might ask is, amazing, so this is where you're currently at. Have you worked with any other agencies or consultants in the past that have helped you with this specifically? I'll ask that question. They might say, yeah, I actually worked with a LinkedIn consultant last year. I invested a lot of money and we saw no return. I can see immediately that there's going to be a fear-based objection later on in the call because they have put money into the same thing before. They have trust issues. Like, this is an emotional thing as well. It's not just surface level business. This is emotionally rooted. Where people that have surface level problems have emotional, deeper level reasons as to why they want to solve that problem. What does solving that problem mean for them in their personal life, or how does it tie in with their desires that they won't speak about when it's like financial and surface level, if that makes sense. So with that, I would ask that question earlier on. Find out if they've worked with someone similar to you in the past. If they have, was their experience good or bad? Why is it that they want to try this again? Are they currently shopping around? Are you speaking to any other coaches or consultants? Have you had any calls before this one, or do you have any more lined up with a similar service? Then you can correctly position yourself and figure out how you want to lead the conversation. Now, I actually posted about this on my LinkedIn this morning, and I also gave 3 questions that you can ask. I think a couple of them I've already covered, but I am going to... So I've got 3 questions. Some of them I've already said, but I'm going to just outline them again now so you can write them down in a list. 3 questions that you can ask in order to avoid having these objections come up. These questions can be asked in an intake form. Most of the time I would ask them towards like the beginning of the sales call. So number 1 is, are you the only person involved in making this decision, or is there somebody else involved as well, like another decision maker? It could be a co-founder, it could be that they've got to check with their wife because the wife handles the finances. It could be anybody. You want to make sure that you're aware of this at the start of the call, because otherwise you're going to pitch and they're going to say, great, I'm going to think about it, I'm going to go ask my wife. I'm going to go speak to my co-founder. You can preempt this and say, oh, they're actually free to jump on right now, because how I explain it might be different than you having to like remember our conversation and going and having to like relay this to your partner or to your co-founder. Are they available? We can reschedule. Or you can split it into a 2-part call. So you can say, okay, amazing. So what we'll do today is the discovery part of the call. Before I actually run you through our services and if we're a good fit, it would be good to reschedule a second call to go over everything with your business partner. I will send you that call recording so you can go over the discovery, all the basics together. Then on our next call, all 3 of us can go through if our product or our service is a good match for you and what the next steps look like. Sound good? And that's what you can do. That's number 1. Number 2 is, have you worked with, for example, another consultant in the past? I've already said this one. What was your experience? If they've had a bad experience in the past, you can preempt the fear objection. We've said this one. Number 3 is, are we the only coach consultant agency that you've spoken with so far? I've also covered this one. Are they shopping around? Do they have other calls after you? You can handle this one in slightly different ways. If they're going to be shopping around, you can ask particular questions to exactly what they're looking for. So if they're shopping around, you can say, so what is it that's important to you at the moment? Is it important to you that somebody really understands your business, that they've got loads of case studies, that they specialize in helping people like you? Is it pricing that's a big factor? Like, what's important for you right now? attributes or qualities that you're looking for in the person that you choose to work with. You can ask that question, and then you can frame your entire pitch and mold it to what they have asked for and tailor the service or the product to appeal to them. Obviously, as long as you can deliver, don't just like lie and make it up. So they're the 3 questions that you can use to avoid objections. They're some of the most common smoke screens or objections that you will get on a sales call. Sometimes it is just not a good fit. You can only do so much pre-qualification without just having to jump on a call. If you are part of like a larger organization, you might have somebody in place that does the screening for you. I'm about to hire someone who's going to screen all of my sales calls before I actually speak with them directly. So they will go and do this pre-qualification process. If they're not a good fit, I've not wasted 20 minutes of my time finding that out. Someone else will do that for me, and then all I need to do is speak with qualified prospects. If not, then having an intake form can really help you with this as well. So I know this is quite like a short video, but I wanted it to be to the point and just actionable, helpful advice. I know I don't speak that much about sales, so let me know if you do enjoy this kind of topic, and I'm happy to speak more about it in future videos, because I do all the sales myself for my current company, for the LinkedIn business. So it's kind of stuff that I picked up along the way. I've gone through some high ticket sales coaching and training, which a lot of this stuff has kind of stemmed from that. So I'm happy to kind of relay some of the frameworks in terms of how I've applied them to my business and how it might be able to help you as well. So if you stayed till the end of this video, which I don't think is a very long one, like 10 minutes, then I appreciate it. Please like this video, subscribe, leave a comment if you enjoyed it. It helps me know that my content is reaching the right people, that it's helping you guys out, and I will see you in the next video.